folks, how are we all? Hope we're alright today and that. Still bright-eyed, bushy-tailed and ready for more. Yeah, so we're on our way down to Florida now. So we stayed in Virginia overnight, just in Richmond, Virginia, or just on the outskirts, one of the northern suburbs of Richmond. And now we're in the process of making the journey down to Florida. We've just gone through, we've come out of Virginia, we've gone through North Carolina, we're just driving through South Carolina at the moment, just passing the area of Florence. So we've got a little bit of a way till we get to the Atlanta, South Carolina, Atlanta state line. So yeah, so I've still got a bit of a way to go. I've set the sat nav for Miami, and we're still 664 miles out of Miami, down in Florida. So that's 664. That's for 65,050. So that's about 1,070 kilometres, 1,072, 1,074 kilometres to go from this point here in South Carolina down to Miami. But just to give you a bit of perspective, there's South Carolina. Our red arrow denotes our position, and yeah, so Charlotte's over here. Charlotte's in Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina, and we're just pretty much going through South Carolina, down through a little bit of Atlanta, and we just scroll up. So South Carolina, we're here, South Carolina, through a little bit of Atlanta. Oh, sorry, not in Atlanta, forget what I said. Through Georgia. This is in Atlanta. Atlanta's the city over here. So South Carolina, Georgia, and then into Florida. You can see where Jacksonville is over here and that, but we won't be going to Jacksonville until a little bit after. So we're going to go straight through here. Yep, so this is Florida down here. Down here's Miami. Down here's Miami. Up here's Tampa. So if I zoom in on those, you might be able to see a bit more.
Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando. That's it. Zoom in. It's Orlando, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie, Coral Springs, and then of course over to Miami. Down here is Fort Lauderdale. And further down. Oh yep, Fort Lauderdale, there we are. There's Fort Lauderdale down here. Plus you've got the base Cape down here of Florida, then you go on to the Florida Keys over here. And they also go a bit further down too. You can see the road which goes over. This is a toll road, it goes to the Keys. See, they're all just across the ocean. There's a big causeway, big bridge, big causeway that goes right out to the Keys. And that's the extent of the road itself, goes to the last of the Keys. Key West is the farthest key you can go to in Florida. Yep, so Key West. You can see the roadway, Highway 1. Yep, you've got Summerlin Key over here. Summerlin Key. And of course you've got Big Pine Key. And of course once again you've got the big causeway that runs between all the keys. All the islands, all the keys. Takes you right out to Marathon, Key Colony Beach, and Layton, Key Layton. Yep. Island of Islamabad. Yep. So it goes for a fair way. In any event, there you go. And of course, Key Largo. Yep. So yeah, so there's a fair way to go down if you want to go down to the Keys. We haven't made a decision on whether to go down to the Keys yet, but we'll wait and see. So yeah, so that's where it's all at. So you got all the keys off. This is Florida, the mainland. These are all the keys. So zoom back out to where we are. Go to present position in South Carolina. We're driving on I-95 South, the interstate I-95 South. It's driving through South Carolina. Yeah, so still 660 miles, 660. So that's there's a 1,000. Still got 1,090 kilometres to go. About 1,090 kilometres to go. Yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. Still some way to go. But yeah, all the roadway and so forth and that. Just on the outskirts. This is on the outskirts of Florence Darlington Technical College, and that. We've got the rest area where we That's throughout America and that. Like Australia, you have all your rest area stops, your rest stops, you get petrol stations, gas stations and that. And yeah, PD State Farmers Market next, right? Yeah, so this one I-95 South's got a speed limit of 70 miles an hour, but we generally sit around 75, 80, 85 miles an hour. I'm doing 85 at the moment, 137 k's, and that's pretty much just pretty consistent with the flow of traffic. But one thing that has been prevalent, however, is the amount of do-gooders in the outside lane, the overtaking lane of the freeway. There's quite a number that just sit for miles and miles on end. And it's worse in Australia. Australia's got a very bad problem with that too, but here in the States, no matter which state you tend to go to, it gets worse. But Virginia, unsurprisingly, with the toughest restrictions on speeding, similar to Australia's, creates the problem even worse. It's getting down to 60 miles an hour on this section here, 97k, so we'll drop it down a bit. And I'm dropping around about 70, 65, 70, it's okay. 105 to 113 k's. Yeah, so no, it's been a bit not challenging, but changing, I should say, in regards to the weather. Like back towards Virginia and North Carolina, the rain had picked up a fair bit, and it got down to about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which cooled it right down to about 23 degrees Celsius, around 23 and a half. And it's reached highs of 92 degrees Fahrenheit, so 32 degrees Celsius. At the moment outside it's 87 Fahrenheit here, which is bang on 30 degrees here in South Carolina. And it's cleared up a bit, still a few sparse clouds about. And yeah, so that's the state of play at the moment. So yeah, so still got a fair way to go. Yeah, so but nonetheless, it's been an enjoyable experience. So now we've turned over, what have we turned over? What's it? 13,494 miles. So what do we pick Mr. CX5 up with 4339. So that's 339. Yep, that's 433. That's 9,000. It's over 9,000 miles now. Over 9,100 and call it 9,150 miles. So that's 14,800 kilometres we've driven. Okay, since we arrived on the 31st of March, Sunday the 31st of March. So we've driven a few miles. Yeah, 14,800 kilometres. So yeah, so that's the current state of play. Due for another service in another 2,000 miles, 3,200, just over 3,200 k's, and yeah, Mazda CX-5's been going absolutely fantastic. Yep. Would I recommend one? Absolutely. Yep. Very good choice of SUV, even though the designs go harking back to circa 2017 now. But even so, despite the older design, still very, very highly competent and excellent driving car. Handles well, even with the US spec suspension, which is a mushburger over undulations and that. And the softness of the suspension compromises the handling a bit compared to an Australian or European model. But still, nonetheless, pretty bloody good SUV, especially if you love driving as much as I do. So yeah, so I thought I'd give you that little update on how everything's going. Fuel consumption's hovered anything between at the moment it's around about 29.4 miles a gallon, around about 7.3, 7.4 litres per 100 kilometres, anything to around 9.6, 9.8 litres 100 around town. Around New York it got down to, it was quite heavy, around about 11.3 litres per 100 kilometres, around about 21 miles per US gallon, around about 11.35 litres per 100 k's. Yeah, so anyways, nothing's fallen off the car. This has been absolutely bulletproof. Yep. Testament to Mazda reliability and build quality. The only way it'd fail to start is if your finger slipped off the start button. So yeah, it's very good indeed. But yeah, must get that service done at another 2,000 miles. It's already had one done back in bloody Montana, over in Great Falls, there by Firestone, which is Alamo Enterprises car service provider. Is the Firestone chain of service outlets. So yeah. Anyways, hope you're still loving all the updates and the videos and that. And like I keep on saying, there's plenty more where that came from. So do take care and talk to you soon. Laters.
Peace.